Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Stock. This video is for entertainment purposes only. Today I have 3 companies I've talked about on here before, but I'd like to give updates on each of those companies. We've had some good news, we've had some different news, and we have some news that's yet to come up. So I want to cover each of those things about the companies. So stick around please, and let's get ready to rock. Welcome back. For those of you who are interested, down in the description is a link to my Patreon. If you come over there, check it out, and if you end up signing up, you'll see my growth portfolio. You'll also get my dividend portfolio, so you can see the stocks that I'm invested in those 2 portfolios. I also put out a weekly watch list of stocks. That's stocks that I picked out to watch for the week, where I think interesting things are going to happen. Also, the patrons that are there also contribute stocks, and I put those on the list as well, so we can have a look as a community at the different stocks that we're all interested in, and maybe we can pick a few winners out of that. Remember, that link is down in the description. Also down in the description you'll find a link to Webull. By signing up and depositing $100, you get 2 free stocks valued up to $1,850. For the referral, I get 2 free stocks, so it helps to support the channel. So thank you to all of my supporters and all of my viewers who support the channel through viewership. I really appreciate it. Last thing, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button, notification bell, hit the like button, share it with your friends. Let's get on to the stocks. Alright, the first stock that I want to update you on is Nugget Online Gaming, ticker symbol GNOG. And this one I talked about it having some really nice price activity recently. Today we even got to saw it break for a little while up above the $19 mark. So that's really nice for those of us who are invested. For me, I'd have a price, I think my average price per share right now is about $17.56. I'd have to look back and confirm that, but I'm pretty sure that's accurate. So as of market close today, I'm a little bit red on that one. And I talked in my video yesterday about the head and shoulders that might be forming here. So you can see the shoulder on the left, and then this higher peak that we have in the middle. And then we have a similar peak to the shoulder that's on the left forming over here on the right. And what I said in the video was that we want to break significantly above the highs that we have on this shoulder that's over here in order to break that formation if it's going to happen. The issue here is that if it is a true head and shoulders pattern, if it does retrace and come back down, it can be a reversal from being a bullish to a bearish price activity, and that's something that we want to be watching. If this thing does go bearish, it can drop well below what we have, and unfortunately, just getting down to those lows drops us considerably from where the price is at now. So that's something we want to be careful of, and something I talked about in my Discord with them is that this could be a possibility to have your stop set. This could turn around on us. So if anybody is invested in this over at the Discord, they at least know to protect themselves in that way so that they don't have to drop all the way down to $12 or below and then be stuck having to make that up. I don't see that happening with this stock. I mean, maybe if we have a major market sell-off, we could see that $14 mark again. If it's really major, maybe we'll even test that $12, but that would be the whole market bringing it down, not necessarily the company itself. I believe Virginia just issued a license to Nugget Online Gaming for gambling in that state, so that's a win for them. So we get some positive price action today, and you can see maybe with the drop of the rest of the market. Let's take a quick look intraday. You can see that it did trail off, and then it traded sideways to end the day, and that brings us where we're at now, still right around that mid to low $17 marker. So I like Golden Nugget. I think it has a lot of potential for it, especially as it makes it into other states. Pennsylvania, we're waiting for an announcement from GNOG to come out and say about how that success has gone, have they implemented it. We're looking for that news to come out, so that's something really encouraging for them. All right, the next company is ChargePoint, and you can see since the SPAC was announced, since the merger was announced, that with SBE it was that we've had a little bit of excitement and then really excited, and then it's been trailing off ever since it topped out at almost $50 per share. So the news happened, and then people got tired of waiting for the reverse merger to finally take place. It's supposed to happen December, January, early February, then finally late February, there were enough votes to make that reverse merger go through. So it's official that SBE switched over to ChargePoint, and you can see between the sell-off and that excitement dying down, that now it's a waiting game in order for ChargePoint to grow into the company that we expect it to be. They still have the predominant market share of chargers in North America, so they still are considered to be one of the leaders, but now with the EV market being down in general from where it was, we're stuck sort of in that waiting game, if you will, for this to really come into its own, for it to develop and for it to grow. And from the things I've been reading, it looks like it's another 3 to 5 years. So if you're trading this and you expect it to really give you those returns, expect them in the form of long-term returns. And I think that that's really going to do you well over the long term. This is a long-term hold for me, so I'm fairly in the red on this one, but it's a company that I have really high convictions on, so it's one that I stand to cling to. If we look at the analyst estimates for this, we have $39 up to $50 across 4 different analysts. And really what we want to see is, when they were last updated, see how relevant they currently are in the current market, in the current conditions that we have. Like I said, I think that we're going to make it back up to these prices. I think it's just a matter of when we make it to them. And I think end of 2021 into 2022, we're going to see some of that strength come back into the EV industry. As that market develops, we're going to see supporting technologies like ChargePoint really start to catch their stride. Last, I have a CCIV update, and you can see this was something people were super excited about. As a matter of fact, if you're watching this, you probably already know about Lucid Motors and Churchill Capital. So Lucid Motors, so CCIV is going to be Lucid Motors once that merger goes through. And you can see with the sell-off, I mean, as soon as the news came out that it was official, that it is a merger target with Lucid Motors, that the price just dropped. And then we had the sell-off following it, and this thing got real cheap real fast. And then finally it broke the 30s again today, with some of the news that it's going to be featured on Mad Money with Jim Cramer tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. So if you're watching this and that's something that you want to watch for further catalysts, that maybe Peter Rawlinson will drop, that's the CEO of Lucid, that he'll drop some information that really makes the market go crazy again. We could see some after-hours activity with CCIV. As a matter of fact, let's take a quick look, see what's going on. So in the after hours here, that's this first candle that we have forming on this 30-minute chart. You can see it's trading slightly above, maybe in a little bit of anticipation, but you can also see that the volume has dropped off on this. So around 6 p.m., I think it's on CNBC. You're going to check that. I don't really watch television all that often. But if you Google it, Mad Money, airtime or whatever, you should see it 6 p.m. tonight Eastern, and I'm going to do my very best to tune into that to see what's going on, and I'm also going to see if there's any opportunities or any announcements that are really made. If we find good news about production, or we find other forecasts, other news coming out from Peter Rawlinson that's really going to really pump up and hype up Lucid, we should see that reflect in CCIV's stock price. We also need to be careful, because on days when it pops up like this, that people will pop up the hype in the stock price, and then as soon as the news announces, or right before the news announces, you can also see it sell off. I don't know that we're going to see that. I think that's what we see throughout the day here, but it could also be with the market dropping. That could be another thing that could explain that drop that we see in the price today. So a little bit of overexcitement, a little bit of settling, along with the market maybe, and then raise back up going into the after hours that we have here. I really think that we're going to make it back up to that 37.50 mark that we had, given their valuation that they were priced at. I think either 54 or $60 billion is their valuation currently. I really think that we have a lot of excitement for Lucid, and as the news comes out, I think that we have a lot of catalysts lined up between the different news. I think when production hits, when rubber literally meets the road as the Lucid cars start rolling out, I think we're going to see a lot more excitement, a lot more hype coming into the stock price. So we'd have further catalysts that would drive this up as that production happens coming into the summer of 2021. So let me summarize. Golden Nugget, ticker symbol GNOG. I like the company. I think that they're going to continue to grow along with the rest of esports and online gambling. They might be one of the smaller players, but I still think that there's at least a 50% upside over the next 12 months in their stock price, and that we're going to have those catalysts going forward. I do want to be careful about the head and shoulders formation, that we don't end up in a reversal, and I definitely don't want to be strongly in the negative on this. I'm willing to let it go a few percent, but nothing like we saw before, where it dropped down to $12 a share while I was sitting at $20 a share, although I did take the opportunity at around $14-ish a share to meet somewhere in the middle. So that was really advantageous, and I really do like this company. I just want to see strength coming through it. So the next thing that we're looking for in the stock price is for it to beat that $19.30 that we had in the left shoulder on the formation, and really hitting 20, hitting that round number, I think is really going to do a lot to solidify the price, at least set it much better than what we have currently, I think that would make it much more likely for us to avoid hitting that head and shoulders pattern that might be happening. ChargePoint, it's been taken very roughly recently in the market. It's been run through the ringer between the different sell-offs and the other news that it had and the earnings that came out. Blink Charging and other companies that would compare to it. ChargePoint is underperforming those right now, and they're supposed to be one of the leaders, so that it could indicate that there's some extra value at its current price of around $24 to $25. So be on the lookout for that as well. And then finally, CCIV with the interview tonight. We could get some good news. Really, I think the next big catalyst that we'll have is about production. So besides EV news itself, anything EV I think is going to move along with it. Is going to be a catalyst and upward pressure on the stock price, and also production from Lucid itself, upward pressure on the stock price. But of course, we always have the market to worry about. Tomorrow with Powell, he could make comments that would depress the entire market, or it could have very little effect, although I think it's either going to make it go up or down. I think that tomorrow's going to be a volatile day, so be on the lookout for that as well. I forget what time he comes out. You might want to look up what time his speech is. I think it's usually somewhere between 9:30 and 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time. So look when Jerome Powell speaks tomorrow, when he's scheduled to do that, and also expect some sort of volatility, whether for the good or for the bad, around the time that he makes his announcements. All right, so that's what I got. For anybody who's interested, for my Patreon, the link's down in the description. Also, the link for Weeble's down there as well. Thanks ahead of time for supporting the channel. I really appreciate it. If you haven't already subscribed and you'd like to, go ahead and click that. Hit the notification bell so you can see anytime my videos come out. Also, hit the like button. Share it with your friends. Remember, these videos are for entertainment purposes only. Always do your own research and due diligence. Contact a financial advisor before making any financial decisions. I'm Dr. Stock. Thanks for rocking with me. Now go get that money.